everyone, my name is Webb. I'm here today to tell you that you are fabulous. And today we are with Travis Dean Wilson. He is in the house. And today we are going to talk about Black Lives Matter. So, Travis, what is Black Lives Matter?
So the basic definition I can summarize is Black Lives Matter is a movement that occurred at the beginning of this past decade, basically taking a stand against violence perpetrated towards the Black community, in particular by police officers. It originated, most people say, with the murder of Trayvon Martin at the hands of George Zimmerman, who actually was not a police officer. And it kind of has been going through ebbs and flows, and it has become a huge, I would say, international movement within the past 4 months.
Okay, and you are actually hosted a protest in Rifle recently for Black Lives Matter. Did you host it?
I hosted it, but not in Rifle. It was in Glenwood.
It was in Glenwood. Oh, okay.
Nothing against the fine people of Rifle, but no way.
Okay, so you hosted a Black Lives Matter protest in Glenwood Springs, and
Yes.
How did that go? Why did you do that?
The protest went very well. We can get into that in a moment. I did it in particular for a few people. I would say the big one was Breonna Taylor, the EMT that was murdered in Louisville, Kentucky back in the middle of March of this year. Her death really spoke to me after I attended a protest previously, which was in Rifle. And I really wanted to do it for her. Alicia Mcclain was another big one, and also Black Trans Lives Matter.
What happened to Breonna Taylor?
Breonna Taylor, honestly, is the story I find the most tragic out of all the recent atrocities that have come out. This woman was not even outside. She was not doing anything that could have generated any suspicion by any police officer. This woman was asleep in her bed. Breonna Taylor was an EMT who was working at the beginning of the pandemic's rise. She had just gotten off a double shift. I'm sure she was exhausted. She was in bed with her boyfriend, and they were sleeping, whatever. These 3 police officers came to their house and issued a no-knock search warrant, which basically means they don't have to announce anything. They can just barge right into your house, like they're in Law and Order. The sad thing is this was not a TV show. They barged in, started yelling, looking for somebody. Of course, the boyfriend was like, who the hell is in my house? So he got up with his gun, went in and shot at them, and he hit one of the officers in the leg. They retaliated, fired over 20 rounds towards him. Breonna Taylor got up to see what was going on, and she was hit 8 times and died on the floor. And it was just really tragic. The main reasons because the person they were looking for was already in captivity. They already had him. So the person they were looking for wasn't even gonna be there. He was already under arrest. And the house that they barged into, they thought he lived there. There were some people there before Breonna and her boyfriend that were suspected of drug activity, but they didn't even live there. Breonna and her boyfriend had been there for quite a while. So they went to the wrong house. The person they were looking for wasn't even there, and they killed an innocent woman who was working during the pandemic, saving lives for nothing. And if that doesn't give you a little inkling of anger, you ain't my friend.
Elijah Mcclain is from Colorado, and I didn't even know about him.
Yeah.
Why did everyone then start sharing his story? What happened?
When people hear this, I hope they understand I'm saying this for a reason. The one positive I would say that came out of George Floyd's demise is that it brought other stories that nobody heard about to light. Elijah was murdered back in September of 19. Breonna was murdered a little over 2 months before him. Nobody heard about them outside of their home area. So their stories are at least getting out, and I hope they get justice, along with several others that have been taken too soon. So that is one of the positives. Elijah was living in Aurora, Colorado. He went out to get a tea for his brother. I believe at like a 7-Eleven, something like that. He has anemia, so he gets cold easy, very easy, so he wears a mask. And when he was leaving, somebody called him, the police, and was like, hey, there's this little black guy running around with a mask. Something's wrong. And that doesn't give any justification for calling the police. I don't know why you would call somebody for that. So the police came out, they found him, and they approached him, and he was like, please respect my space. I'm an introvert. I'm not very good with people, which in all honesty is fair. And as police officers, they should have respected that, respected the distance, and be like, okay, we just need to ask you something. They did not. They continued to pursue him. They cornered him, and then he struggled because he was uncomfortable and scared, obviously. And then they put him into a chokehold, and put him down, and he was freaking out. He could not breathe. So they called the EMTs and they injected him with ketamine, which is a horse tranquilizer. And they put him into a coma for a couple days and he died.
And how old was he?
23.
And you posted recently on Facebook 100 Reasons to Vote, and it's names of Black people who were mistreated by police. Is that correct?
A mixture, mostly by police action, but also by people who decided to take justice into their own hands, like George Zimmerman with Trayvon Martin and the McMichaels with Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. So, but mostly by police action, yes.
Okay. And so what can we do to support Black Lives Matter, such as support their businesses, all that kind of stuff? What can we do? This
is my advice. And it's not really my place to tell people what to do, but if they're looking for ideas, here's mine. It's good to talk about it on social media. It is good to do protests. My thing is, there is nothing that is going to change, though, if you just sit on your phone, sit behind a computer, and rant and rave till you're blue in the face, till you can't talk, because it's talking. You need to take action. There is so much more than sitting behind your phone and sharing stuff and be like, this is not cool, this is unacceptable, they can burn in hell, whatever. You need to take action. And the best way to do that is you got to vote. I will be the first to tell you, the system is flawed in America. This is not a perfect voting system, but it's what we got. I think some people are waiting for this revolution or waiting for some kind of coup, whatever. It may come. I don't know. Who knows? I doubt it, so work within it now.
And do you believe the system is rigged?
Absolutely.
Toward white people?
Mm-hmm.
That we are privileged?
Absolutely. I came from a little town in Georgia, so I didn't even recognize my privilege. We had very few Black people in our community. The ones that did, they kind of kept to themselves. And I was like, why won't they talk to us? Why won't they be more inclusive? And as I got older and I came out here and exposed myself, I was like, oh, yeah, it's absolutely rigged that way. And I understand that we get a little butthurt because a lot of us feel like, oh, we're good people. I've never been racist. It's not an individualized racism. If someone says you have white privilege, that does not mean that you are a bad person, that you are a racist, and that you should go to hell. That's not what anybody is saying. I don't recall anybody ever saying that. It's saying that you have privileges above others because of your skin color. You have never been afflicted or been caused any kind of judgment because of your skin tone. And some people may be like, I disagree. I've had Black people judge me for my skin tone. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I've never had that happen to me.
I've never had it happen to me. I've never been judged
for
skin color of my skin.
I think the one time I was in middle school and I took a Greyhound from one side of Georgia to the other to see my brother. And the majority of the population on there were Black. And they kind of looked at me like, who the hell are you? And I was just like, oh no, okay. I sat in my spot and about 20 minutes later, I made like 10 friends.
Right.
So they were just probably like, what's this kid doing on here? So they got to know me and they were like, oh, he's cool, never mind. Right. So that's the worst thing I ever saw.
Black trans lives. This is a big problem. It's something I'm seeing on Facebook every day, especially Black trans women,
yes,
being murdered. What is happening?
Trans people in general are attacked very often. They always, I believe I saw a thing where it's like 1 in 10 get physically assaulted, 1 in 15 get sexually assaulted. It's very sad, but in particular, Black trans women, I feel, are hugely marginalized and attacked. We have seen numerous cases of Black trans women being murdered all across the United States. And the true tragedy is it would be an even higher number, but so many of them are misgendered when they are found and reported and autopsied. It's a mixture of the EMTs and the doctors just don't know. And also the families refuse, even in their death, to acknowledge their pronouns and acknowledge who they really are as people. And will, for example, if a Black trans woman is murdered, some families have gone, that was my son. And it's like, you still, even in their death, will not respect that. Mm. And so we don't know who this beautiful person really is because you chose not to honor that.
And do they have the highest death rate of people who are murdered, of Black people?
In Black people, that I haven't seen a percentage, but in trans, absolutely. The Human Rights Campaign did several surveys and research, and 91% of trans people that were murdered in the United States last year, 2019, were Black. I looked through about 27 confirmed trans murders. So if you do 91%, that's probably about 24, 25 23. So I think it was like all but 2 people were Black or people of color that were murdered because they were trans. Keep yourself educated. If you have any friends that are transgender, please respect pronouns. Just learn. Most of them are very understanding. I have several friends that are transgender. They're beautiful people.
Right.
And just be a good person. And I mean, we as gay men,
Right.
I feel we have an obligation to take care of people in our community.
Absolutely.
I cannot tell you how many racist gay men I've met in my life. I thought being in the gay community, I was like, everyone's accepting. I heard the N-word fly more than in my hometown. And I came from Georgia. I'm like,
wow.
Because you're gay, that does not mean that you're immune from being a racist.
Right.
You can still be a cute little gay twink and you're still a racist.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's keep it real, y'all. Don't let that define anything. If you are part of the LGBT community, take care of your brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So what was one final thing you'd like to say to the people out there about Black Lives Matter?
Be informed, be educated. I also recommend taking a break. I'm actually on a little bit of a break myself right now, not from everything, but if you need to just get away from social media for a minute, get away from it, because what good are you if you are so mentally and emotionally drained that you can't even support people anymore? I think you need to kind of juggle it responsibly, always be aware, but don't push yourself to the limit to where you give up on humanity, where you give up on everything. It's like, what's the point? We know it sucks. I'm not going to tell you that this is some kumbaya where we have 20 minutes on an episode of a sitcom, we fix it, and we all end with a theme song. That's not how life works. That's never how life's worked.
Right.
It takes a lot of time. This is going to take years of work. We may not even see this come to fruition. I don't know. It could be 10 years. It could be 100 years. We don't know, but we keep going. And look for the positives in life. We are seeing justice. I hope that her murderers are charged. I hope that Elijah Mcclain's case eventually gets a little more momentum and his murderers get charged, but we'll see.
And there was actually a law in Kentucky, right? Because of Breonna that was passed?
Yes. In Louisville, they passed Breonna's law, which basically banned all no-knock search warrants within the city, which is good. I mean, Louisville is a big city, but that's like a small percentage of the whole nation.
Right.
So we will see. And going back to what you said about what else you can do, if you do protest, please wear a mask. We are still in a pandemic. For the love of God, wear a mask. Don't be stupid and be careful. We saw what's been going on in Portland. We've seen what's probably going to happen in more major cities.
Right.
If you want to take that risk and go to a big city and be a part of that, I salute you. I support you, but
well, thank you so much, Travis, for coming and speaking with us today about Black Lives Matter. Black lives certainly do matter. This man is advocating for something. It's absolutely fabulous. And we want to know, how did you support Black Lives Matter? Did you make a sign? Did you go out and protest? Are you supporting Black businesses? Please share your stories and show us your videos and show us your signs. And also, other things that you may be standing up for, such as ending child marriage, fighting for LGBTQ rights, such as fighting for women's education, all that great stuff. Please tell us what you're standing up for. This fabulous man right here is standing up for something, and we love him for it. He is great, and so please share your stories with us. As always, you guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on those bell notifications to get reminders about new videos. Please like, comment, and share this video. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thanks for being here today. See you next Friday.